In the heart of South America, two rugby nations collide with pride on the line and futures hanging in the balance. Brazil vs. Chile isn't just a test match, it's a battle for rugby identity, legacy, and a shot at regional dominance. This isn't about stats on paper. This is about heartbeats on the pitch. Welcome to the only place where we don't just watch the game, we go beyond the box score. There's something unapologetically primal about a rugby contest that features South Africa and Georgia. You don't walk into this fixture expecting champagne rugby or silky offloads through space. No, this is raw, stripped-down warfare, leather-tight scrums, neck-wrenching mauls, and the kind of collisions that echo into Monday morning ice baths. And when you look at the Springboks, they aren't just any old side in green and gold. They are, in many ways, the spiritual gatekeepers of traditional rugby values: domination up front, relentless pressure, and an obsessive devotion to suffocating the life out of the opposition. So when Georgia dares to take the field against the giants of the Southern Hemisphere, you know you're about to witness an 80-minute arm wrestle dressed in national colors. It's not just about points on the board, it's about proving a point. Let's start with South Africa, because how could you not? The reigning world champions aren't just carrying a trophy, they're carrying an identity. This team, forged in the fires of adversity, hardened by brutal test series, and defined by the uncompromising presence of players like Shah Khaleesi, Eben Etzebeth, and Pieter-Steph du Toit, functions like a military unit. There's structure, there's power, and there's an unshakable belief in the game plan. Rassie Erasmus and Jacques Nienaber have engineered a machine, one that doesn't blink, doesn't panic, and doesn't take prisoners. You can call it negative, call it conservative, but it wins. And that's the point. But let's not fall into the trap of thinking this Springbok side is one-dimensional. There's more to it than box kicks and lineouts. Take a closer look and you'll find players like Kurt Learens, Cheslin Colby, and Damian Willems, men with gas in their boots and chaos in their DNA. When the moment calls for it, South Africa doesn't just punch you, they slice through you with terrifying pace. It's this duality, the brutal and the brilliant, that makes them such a frightening prospect for anyone. And for Georgia, the challenge is mountainous. Yet here's the twist: Georgia won't be intimidated. They can't afford to be. This is a team that's clawed its way into the rugby mainstream not through slick marketing campaigns or blockbuster TV deals, but through blood, sweat, and a pack of forwards who relish misery. Their scrum isn't just stable, it's an offensive weapon. Their rolling maul is more tank than tactic. And while they may lack the star power of their more established Tier 1 counterparts, what they have in spades is resolve. In fact, if there's a team in world rugby that mirrors the old-school Springbok mentality, it might just be the Lelos. They understand the value of territory. They know how to absorb pressure. And they are built on a foundation of sacrifice. You don't survive against Tier 1 giants unless your tackle completion is off the charts, your set piece is clinical, and your mental fortitude is unbreakable. Georgia ticks those boxes, and that's why this clash isn't just a warm-up fixture or a formality, it's a litmus test. Let's talk tactical dynamics. For South Africa, this will be about control. Expect to see Faf de Klerk box kicking relentlessly, pushing Georgia back, asking them to exit cleanly again and again. Expect to see Malcolm Marx or Bongi Mbonambi hitting their jumpers at the tail, with Etzebeth and RG Snyman steamrolling through the heart of Georgia's pack on every lineout drive. And when the ball goes wide, it won't be flung with abandon, it'll be timed, calculated, and often used to drag Georgia's defensive line across the pitch before striking back against the grain. Georgia, by contrast, will be looking to disrupt. They'll contest everything: rucks, mauls, even the occasional high bomb. If there's a fight to be had, the Lelos will find it. Fly half Tado Abzondadze will need to have the game of his life, not just with the boot but with decision-making under fire. He won't have the luxury of time. The Springbok back row closes space like a vice grip, and if Georgia's 10 is caught dithering, he'll be eating turf before his second phase. But if he can find territory and pin the box back, if he can make this a slow, grinding game played in the right areas of the pitch, suddenly, it's a different contest. There's also the psychological battle to consider. South Africa, for all their dominance, know the trap of underestimating Tier 2 nations. The last thing they want is a first-half dogfight, a 9-6 slugfest that stretches into the 60th minute with everything to play for. Georgia's dream scenario is just that: keep it close, frustrate, force penalties, and then strike with a well-drilled set piece. And the Springboks, They'll be looking to crush that dream early, to assert dominance before halftime, and to remind the world why they wear the crown. Let's not forget the context either. This fixture is part of a broader mission. For South Africa, it's about testing depth, sharpening systems, and building cohesion ahead of bigger battles. Players on the fringes will be desperate to impress, men like Janan Moody or Evan Roos, who know that one standout performance could earn them a starting jersey when it really matters. And for Georgia, it's about more than just pride. It's about legitimacy. Win or lose, every minute they stand toe-to-toe with a Tier 1 powerhouse adds fuel to the argument for greater inclusion, more fixtures, and a seat at the table where decisions are made. You also have to marvel at the evolution of rugby itself when you see these two sides collide. On one end, you have the Springboks, with their professional infrastructure, elite conditioning programs, and decades of test experience. On the other, Georgia, still clawing their way through political red tape and financial limitations, yet producing players who can manhandle opposition in the top 14 in United Rugby Championship. It's proof that talent finds a way, and that heart can't be coached. It's either in you or it's not. The likely flow of the game. Expect an opening quarter of brutality. Both sides will test the waters with contact, with possession kept tight and tactical kicks reigning supreme. The Springboks will aim to pull away by halftime, using their superior fitness, bench strength, and cohesion to widen the gap. But if Georgia can keep the margin under 10 going into the second half, we're looking at a firecracker final 40. In the end, logic dictates a Springbok win. They have the tools, the talent, and the pedigree. But rugby doesn't always follow logic. It follows momentum, belief, and the occasional moment of madness. And if Georgia finds themselves with a sniff, a turnover here, a penalty there, don't be surprised if they make this uncomfortable for longer than anyone expects. They've done it before. They'll do it again. Final prediction: South Africa by 18. But Georgia will leave with more respect than they arrived with, and maybe, just maybe, a blueprint for how to make Tier 1 teams sweat. If there was ever a moment in South American rugby that captured the essence of a rising tide, a collision between tradition and ambition, a head-on clash between rugged familiarity and fiery resurgence, it's Brazil versus Chile. These two proud rugby nations, long locked in the shadows of Argentina's imposing presence, are carving out their own destinies. And this game, make no mistake about it, is not a warm-up, not a formality. It's a proving ground, a theater of redemption and assertion. Two sides on the cusp of something greater, looking to lay down a marker, not just for world rugby rankings, but for identity, pride, and legitimacy. This isn't about who survives, this is about who rises. Let's talk about the DNA of these two teams. Brazil, nicknamed Os Tupas, has never shied away from embracing the grind. You don't expect flair from them, not in the traditional sense. What you get is brutal honesty in every ruck, thunder in every tackle, and a forward pack that treats the gain line like sacred territory. Brazil has invested heavily in grassroots development, and while they may not yet be a Tier 1 outfit, the depth in their set piece and the growing composure of their backline is a testament to their long-term planning. Chile, on the other hand, has swagger. Los Condors are daring. They'll take risks from their own 22 if it means a chance to inject chaos into a structured defensive wall. Where Brazil builds pressure, Chile strikes with immediacy. It's a fascinating contrast of styles, and that's what makes this fixture so damn compelling. The recent trajectory of both teams deserves attention. Brazil came into 2024 licking wounds from a series of close losses that could have, with a better kicking percentage or smarter phase management, been wins. But here's the thing, this team learns. And they've added steel to their midfield defense, with the likes of Moises Duque leading not just in caps but in composure. His boot, his vision, and his calm under fire is exactly the kind of glue that holds an evolving side together. Duque is not just a fly half, he's a field general, and in a match like this, generals make the difference. Chile's momentum, however, can't be understated. Ever since their historic qualification to the Rugby World Cup, the confidence has surged through the veins of this squad. Head coach Pablo Lemoine, who himself is no stranger to Tier 1 brutality as a former Uruguay prop, has built this Chilean side with one mantra: fear no one. They've played above their level and tasted the sting of elite breakdown speed, and they've come out of it smarter, sharper, and more dangerous. Their back three, in particular, offers blistering counterattack options. Santiago Videla is electric. He finds space where there shouldn't be any and punishes defensive disarray like a veteran predator. Let's talk tactical breakdowns. The scrum is going to be pivotal. Brazil has one of the more underrated front rows in the Americas. Their tight head Felipe Sansari anchors a pack that doesn't just contest, they bully. If they can get early dominance in the scrum, that tilts the rhythm in their favor. Chile has shown vulnerability at scrum time, particularly under pressure. But the difference might not be in raw power, it might be in how quickly each team can recycle ball under breakdown heat. Chile's support lines are fast. Their ruck speed is top tier for this level of rugby. Brazil needs to slow that down, flood the contact zone, and make it messy. Ugly rugby might win this. There's also the matter of territory and kicking. Chile thrives in unstructured chaos, so if Brazil can pin them deep, force them to play out of their own 22, then turnovers and penalties become inevitable. That means tactical kicking has to be pinpoint. Not just clearance, smart territorial probes that pull Chilean wings out of alignment. Brazil's Duque, again, becomes a central figure. Here, his left foot can turn defense into pressure in a heartbeat, and if the back row does their job in the chase, that's where territory turns into scoreboard control. Now, the midfield clash. Chile's center pairing has been aggressive all tournament, leading with their shoulders, sometimes even risking cards. But that's their brand. Defensive intensity is not a stat on a spreadsheet, it's a psychological weapon. But Brazil's inside channels are seasoned. They won't be rattled. What we're likely to see is a war of inches, every meter earned the hard way, and one mistake, one offload gone wrong, could flip momentum irreversibly. And discipline, my God, discipline is going to be everything. These two sides are evenly matched enough that penalties will either bail out a team under pressure or create 3-point gifts in a game that could be decided by 6 or fewer. Brazil has historically had issues keeping composure when the ref's whistle goes against them, and if they lose a man to the bin early on, Chile will pounce. Chile doesn't need many chances, they just need one clean channel to burst open the game. And from there, they'll run it all day. The coaching battle is fascinating too. Brazil's management has leaned into a philosophy of controlled aggression. They'll prepare a set-piece heavy game, a kick-chase blueprint, and they'll stick to it with religious fervor. Chile's Lemoyne, though, is unpredictable. He's shown a willingness to throw the game plan out the window if momentum offers a different path. He trusts his players. He lets them play with flair. That freedom might be dangerous, or genius. We'll know by the 60-minute mark. Watch for substitutions, too. Chile has better bench impact. Players like Javier Carrasco in the back row can come in and change tempo instantly. Brazil needs their finishers to not just maintain structure, but to bring urgency. Fresh legs without fresh ideas won't matter. This match will be won in the final 20. Beyond the field, there's a broader story. This is a rivalry that matters in the context of continental rugby. It's not South Africa versus New Zealand, but for these players and their nations, it's everything. Winning means funding, fans, respect, and belief. It's a statement that says, we belong at the table. And for countries trying to build rugby cultures, belief is the currency of growth. Whoever walks away with this win isn't just taking points, they're taking momentum, narrative, and identity. So what's the verdict? On form, Chile edges it. Their recent performances, especially their set-piece variation and transition speed, give them an edge. But if Brazil plays disciplined rugby, wins the kicking battle, and turns this into a grind, they can absolutely steal it. The margins are that thin. Expect a low-scoring, trench warfare first half. Then all hell could break loose. A yellow card, a charge-down try, a 50, 22 turning pressure into points. That's how tight this will be. Final prediction, Chile 23, Brazil 20. One moment of magic, probably from Santiago Videla or a sniping scrum half break, will make the difference. But don't be shocked if Brazil flips the script. They're that close. The ground is shifting in South American rugby. In this match, it's an earthquake in disguise. If you're tired of cookie-cutter highlights and surface-level analysis, smash that like button, subscribe to Beyond the Box Score, and ring the bell so you never miss a breakdown that goes deeper than the scoreboard. Drop your predictions in the comments. Who takes it, Brazil or Chile? Let's go beyond the basics. Let's go beyond the box score.